Okay, I'm going to trace a couple of heads just so you guys get a feeling for how these rhythm lines show up on a face. These are grayed out a little bit so that hopefully my lines will stand up. So I think most people can figure out things like the brow line here, the round circle for the eyeballs, the front plane of the nose. There's not going to be much of a bottom plane because he's looking down. So it really is just going to be more like a shape there, a nose shape. Now there's a rhythm here, the side plane of the nose. Can you see it right there? If you sort of connect the dots. This is, I believe, the rhythm line of the muzzle, this two-cylinder muzzle. You can actually see it like a laugh line on him wrapping around like that. And you notice there's a foreshortening to it that, you know, like anything, if it looks like that in looking straight at it, if he's looking down, it's going to look like that. It's going to compress. The chin rhythm is like this. Now you can see a little bit of that line there. That's the bag under the eye. And how it manifests down here, I think I see a little bit of an arc there. It's just a plane change. It's subtle sometimes, but that's the rhythm there. This plane here that comes from the tip of the nose, or sorry, tip of the wing of the nose to the ear. It's interesting because it's wrapping a little bit around his skull. So that rhythm completing like that won't make too much sense. It's going to be a little bit more in here like that. And you can see it, how that follows sort of that shadow plane. Same thing here. That one I'm not going to quite get it all the way to that corner of that nose. But you can see how it's creating sort of this top plane here of the cheekbone. He also has this great, beautiful circle on his head here. You see that? That's that circle plane on his head. Boom. This is the corner of the temples there. It's hard to kind of catch where the brow line plane changes on this blown out image. But that's about it. You actually see this also, this rhythm there of these cheekbones. See how they curve around that way, like that? Yeah. So that's the Reilly head rhythms in his case. I'm going to do a couple more and see if this will help you. Let me see, make sure that lines up. So this is my man Vincent Cassell here. I'm going to use a different color maybe in case the other one didn't show up so great. But again, look for the circle of his eyeball. Remember, you're not working on the drawing so much in these because the drawing's already done for you. You're just looking to see, like with X-ray vision, through the forms. Here's that front plane of the nose curving that way. That's the bottom plane of the nose. If you can imagine that being a little circle there. You can definitely see this angle here, that line there. That's the brow ridge line coming across to there. His muzzle shape, I believe, is going to be something like that. I'm following the rhythm lines of the laugh lines. You can see this kind of bag of the eye. That is the second muzzle shape wrapping around like that. And this plane sort of that cheekbone line takes over a little bit on his face, but this is still there. It's connecting to the chin. there. Again, that lip to there, all the way out to there. That's the chin. These cheek rhythms here, you can start to see that plane there, that highlight of the cheekbone is sort of created by that rhythm pop. You see how this little half tone in there is the result of that line intersecting with that line and that line. It's a pretty powerful abstraction. And you can just use it to however you want to make it make sense. You can see that plane change there. That's going to be part of this rhythm here, of that circle in the front of his forehead. Cheek plane, you can't really see the change to the plane here so much, but here, see how crisp it is? So that's pretty much Vincent Cassell's Reilly head abstraction. Thanks, Vincent. I'll try another one. This is a young woman, so there's less lines on her face to kind of go by. But I wanted this one in here because it's a 3/4 twisted portrait. So again, her eyeball's really easy to find the shapes of them. The makeup sort of accentuates it also. So let's find the keystone shape. This is the brow ridge there. Remember, it's the outer part of the eye socket. And I'm going to make sure it wraps here. I want to make sure that behind the nose plane of the eye does wrap. We're gonna include that. Here's the front plane of the nose. Here's the rhythm, the sides of the nose, the rhythm of the bottom of the nose coming up, and then swooping, but underneath that round ball of the front of the nose. So that rhythm continues that way. See it? And there's a swooping connection here that goes from the wing to the bottom of the philtrum there over here. Sorry, is that the right term of that? Septum? Sorry, bottom of the center of the nose. The mouth is going to have this curve to it, as we know. Center line, I think finding the center line is actually a good thing to do in general. And remember that, again, the center line going through the head, goes through the base of the nose. The front of the nose pushes out farther. So let's find this muzzle shape. It's kind of hard to distinguish on her, but if you look closely, there's a little line right there, a little laugh line, a little something like that. That's your curve that we go from the wing of the nostril to the bottom of the bottom plane of the lip, and we curve this around here symmetrically. And we imagine it connecting up to the top of the wing of that nostril. And then also, you can see a bit of a plane change right there. That is this rhythm line intersecting with the other ones. That's what that little plane change is there. And also what's cool about this is when I construct this muzzle line on the far side of the cheek, this gives me that complex cheek shape and its relationship to this inner muzzle shape. And then this chin here, you can see comes like that. See how it's now in proportion, it's shifted back in space. This rhythm line comes all the way from that ear all the way forward there, and I'm going to imagine the plane that way too. And here you can see how this rhythm follows the shadow of the cheekbone there. See it? And that you can imagine this might come that way as well. I'm going to put in this top plane of this far cheekbone. The circular part of her front of her skull is going to look a little something like that. You can see a little indication right there. See that little plane change there? I'm going to use that to place that front part of her skull. It looks like my center line's off. It should be more like that. I'm not sure if she has a rhythm line there, but I'm going to put it in. It'll help me find this cheek over there. See it? And what this really helps with, here's jaw, temple, and there's a brow line that comes through here like that. Now, where this really helps, if you can imagine, is finding this contour can be quite complex, especially if it's subtle. And these Reilly rhythms help us find it in relation to, say, these plane breaks over here. And our brains will start to connect these two. This is the shadow plane break, here's the contour plane, and we can start to, in our minds, construct that whole head. This is how the Reilly rhythm, thinking in symmetry, can help us create very believable portraits. That way, this is going to be an arcing line that way back in space, and then this rhythm chops it so we get a realistic lip there. We'll do one last one. I hope this helps a little bit, you guys. We'll do one last one with our man David Bowie. Tape it down here. I'm using him again because it's a little bit of a 3/4 view. So let's start with finding his brow ridge here. Again, because we're tracing, it doesn't matter so much. The order does help maybe in your mind, but for the exercise, I really just want you to be able to see this stuff. So here's the rhythm of the nose interrupted by the front of the nose. Here's the bottom plane of the nose. Again, so you should end up with something that looks like that. That's your abstraction of the bottom plane of the nose. We have our eyeballs. This one nestled in up underneath the brow. Put our mouth in here. Okay, let's find his side plane of the nose. Looks like that. You don't see it on the far side because it's hiding behind him. I just realized on her it's the same thing. You can see where the side plane of the nose is there. Again, he's so 3/4, you don't even have a little sliver of it over there. It's gone. Let's find this muzzle shape. And on him, you can see the laugh line. It's pretty straight down, and then it kind of curves around in here like that. And you can see it echoed there, see it? And that's how we create that sort of symmetry. Same thing here, he has that little bag shape under his eyes for his outer muzzle. It could go a little farther out probably, but I see it here too. That's it. And that helps me envision this wrapping in 3 dimensions around the far side of his face. Chin goes back in space like that. He has this nice under cheekbone there. From the top of the ear to the inner part here. That's how I'm going to see that rhythm. And then you can kind of see this plane break here. See the change on the cheekbone there? That's going to be that. And I'm going to just kind of have those two there. So you can see that creates the little shadow shapes over there if we're looking for them. This helps us find them. As far as the his brow, I can't really see it too well, but I'm going to use, there's a plane break here, right? 1, 2, like that. I'm going to use that as the start of this brow shape coming around. The temple shape I can't see here because of the highlights missing, but I'm going to put it back there, sort of your center line. And then the circle is going to be disappear to his hairline. And I bet if I looked for it, I bet there's a plane change here on that circle. But that's basically the Reilly head on him. And again, when you're thinking about doing the eyes in a 3/4 space like this, thinking about the 3-dimensionality, about how the stuff is all wrapping around, is going to help greatly in a three-dimensional feel to your drawings. See that? Okay, I hope that helped a little bit. See the rhythm lines on the figures, and remember, some of these figures it'll be quite obvious where the plane changes are. Some it won't be, but look for them and see if you can find them and connect this abstraction with real heads.